Good morning, it's Anne. Can't get comfortable. I find now I'm doing these videos, the more I say, the more I feel it's important for me to say about certain issues, not least, of course, about having somebody I adore in a nursing home. I'd always promised Alfie he would never go into a nursing home. It wasn't the easy option. Still isn't what I want. But realistically, we wouldn't last a day or two at home. We couldn't cope. Alf wouldn't be able to cope. I wouldn't be able to cope. He needs 24/7 care. A nurse on the spot, neurologist who works next door. He needs all those things. So people who come onto threads, and I don't always answer them, but it's when I look on different YouTube videos or wherever it is I see comments who say I would never put a relative of mine in a nursing home. I would never do this. I would never say never, because I once said never. And I never thought it would happen, and it has. We're coping. Just. I cope when people say to me, how do you cope? Many times I think I'm not coping very well. And I feel now that I don't want to be around if Alfie isn't around, but who's to say what tomorrow's going to bring anyway? But one thing that has happened with me is that my face has deepened, and it's not the face I was brought up in to be Catholic or even Christian. It's just a face in that we're all here to learn lessons, to be the best that we can be. We have a route before us, and it's up to us how we cope with the obstacles in our way. I had many obstacles in my life, from being in care to running away when I was 13, being on the run for 3 weeks. Anything could have happened to me. Nobody really cared. I was brought back to the home by a policeman, and there I stayed until coming back out to live with my mother and my abusive stepfather. Alfie saved me from all that. Alfie has saved my life. He saved me physically, he saved me spiritually. But unfortunately, I don't know what I've given to him. Certainly nothing of equal worth, unless, of course, you count our children. But then we've given the children to each other. So what I want to say is this: don't judge anybody till you've walked a mile in their shoes. Don't judge anybody who has somebody in a nursing home, because by God, that's a terrible decision to have to make, believe me. Don't judge anybody when you don't know their life. Don't judge anybody. You don't know how much that person would give to have the person they love whole again. Don't judge, because you don't assume. Because you know what they say about assumption, assuming makes an ass of you. And you won't make an ass of me. So I'm rambling a little bit again. It was just something that was in my mind that I wanted to get out. And also, I was wondering, can you imagine We have 4 Gospels in the Bible, don't we? Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. Imagine if there was a 5th Gospel. Probably is. But included, and a 6th Gospel. And a 7th Gospel. Imagine if there was a Gospel written by Mary Magdalene. Christianity, as in other religions, women are marginalised. But Mary Magdalene was a disciple of Jesus. She came from the city of Magdala. She was a married woman who was barren and whose husband threw her out because she was barren. And she had to eke a living for herself. People judged that woman. Jesus didn't judge her. He gave her absolution for any perceived sins. He gave her peace. And she was a favoured disciple. There when he was crucified. There when his body was taken from the cross. There when he rose again from the dead. Whatever you believe about religion, Jesus was a prophet. If you don't believe he was the Son of God, he was a good man and he was a prophet. My beliefs I tend to keep to myself. Except I do believe in the resurrection, but maybe not in the way that many other people do. I believe in resurrection and reincarnation as being one and the same. Anyway, there's a few thoughts for today. I may be back later. I may go and have a drink with a couple of friends. I don't know. Later. I don't like how it makes me feel, but it just makes me relax for an hour or two. So I'll see. And I may be back later. Peace to you all. God bless whichever God you believe in. And peace to you. Bye bye.